YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Hold It Down Jay. Thank y'all for tuning in. Before we even begin, you already know I'm gonna need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And then after the theme song, I'm gonna tell you why I decided to choose SANS Institute to do my postgraduate certificate. And then after that, we're gonna talk about all the materials I use to study and go break through what I've learned so far. So I'm gonna holla at y'all. Alright y'all, welcome back. The reason why I decided to choose SANS was simply because when I looked online, I done my reviews and SANS happened to be one of the top 5 choices when it came to learning cloud security, cybersecurity, whatever your preference is, right? What I will say is a lot of people may have biased opinions about SANS because of the actual price of the courses. One course I seen was about $8,000, but that's typical for these courses. The reason why I can afford it is because due to me being a veteran, I can use my post 9/11 GI Bill. For those who don't know what a post 9/11 GI Bill is, I would say like a scholarship in a way. So where the government provides veterans or active duty military personnel finances to actually go to their school. That's what I've used. It gives you housing allowance. They pay up to a certain amount per academic year. I don't know off the top of my head, don't quote me, but you can use post 9/11 or either Montgomery, but I chose post 9/11 and so far I'm loving it. It's paid for every single dollar. If you can afford to go, I would say definitely go, but if you can't, there's different ways you can actually attend the course and get a big discount off your course. I've seen students chaperone the instructors doing live classes so that way they can get discounts. I see it all the time. You get a nice discount too. The more chaperoning you do, the more you get a discount off of your actual course. See if your job will pay for it because that'll help you out in the long run. But if you're just beginning out, you need to decide what college you want to go to. If you can afford it, then good. But if not, there's some alternatives you can do. You can just go straight certification route until you get your dream job and then move on and see if they'll pay for SANS. But it's not for everybody. What I will say is from what my experience so far dealing with SANS, I've had a great experience. Let me even backtrack and tell you the actual class I decided to do. Well, the graduate certificate I decided to do was cloud security. As you may know, I'm an incident response specialist, meaning that I detect threats, triage them, and investigate them pretty much. Do a lot of forensics with the actual malicious activity or suspicious behavior. What I wanted to do, I wanted to branch off into cloud security just to gain more knowledge and expand my expertise in certain things. Cloud security, I know it's coming if it hasn't already, and a lot of companies are moving to it, so I just wanted to develop more skill sets within the cloud. I don't get to play around with it as much, but going to school helped me out with actually having that hands-on experience. And as you may know, I want to be a security engineer with an emphasis within the cloud security environment. And this was the best way I thought for my personal beliefs that this will help me. The class I'm doing right now is for the GIAC Cloud Security Essentials certification. That's what they start you off at. And what they do, they give you an overview of the cloud and also you build your own lab. They talk about all three. They talk about AWS, they talk about GCP, and Azure. So Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, and Azure. The good thing is when you deal with these three, they'll tell you based off, so for example, if you're talking about identity access management, they'll say Amazon AWS, they call it AM, but GCP, they call it AM as well, but Azure, they have a different name for it. So they translate all three clouds, which I like. Also, it's not boring because you build your own labs. You started from the ground up. As you go through these lessons, for each video you do, at the end, they'll be like, okay, well, time to build this lab, or you'll complete this lab, and it gives you a lot of hands-on experience, and you could talk about it. What I've been doing, every time I complete a lab, I'll go on Medium, and I'll create an actual blog article about it to show exactly what I've done. Pretty much it, but let me show you the materials they gave me. They gave me so far They gave me the video, which is SANS on demand, just the videos of the actual lessons that you'll learn. The other thing they gave me was the PDF files for the actual electronic books. They gave me access to AWS and Azure with actual credentials. And another thing they gave me was MP3 files, specifically for each book. They gave me a total of 5 books, well actually 6. So you'll have 5 different domains that you'll talk about within the exam, but also you get the 6th book is the actual workbook, they call it, and it discusses what you need to do exactly to complete your actual labs. It comes with instructions. But I actually look online because they give you the URLs as well. But I like how they give you different resources you can use, and they also recommend not to use any other external third-party sources to actually help you pass for the exam or study for the exam. They specifically say, stick with our stuff and you should pass. With that being said, let me go ahead and show you the actual things that I've been using so far to help me study. Here goes all the books. First one, Identity Access Management. That talks about user policies, access management. You'll be creating roles and using AWS IAM, also creating users. Second book is Compute and Configuration Management. This deals with actual deploying the virtual machines and instances. A lot of things that you'll use too is Terraform and Ansible, and I use that, and you'll develop scripts to actually deploy the actual virtual machines. And the good thing is that when you deploy these virtual machines, they'll actually show you the configuration settings. They'll already come pre-deployed, so that way you don't have to manually configure multiple virtual machines if you don't want to. Next one is Data Protection and Automation. The reason why I like this one is because it talks about different methods you can use to actually hardening your actual files, how to secure it, also automating things as well. So for example, if you have a file inside your storage center, which is AWS S3, and you store files in something called a bucket. They'll show you exactly what you can do to secure that, and also how to give users the least amount of privilege so that way everybody doesn't have access to those specific files. Now this is one of my favorites, book 4, Networking and Logging. The good thing about networking and logging is that I tell people all the time, when it comes to cybersecurity, you have to understand what networking is. And the reason why this is important, especially in cloud security, is because you have to understand how devices connect. You're going to learn things like virtual private clouds, also how you can connect how subnets work. And when it comes to the logging portion, you're going to talk about SIEMs, which is Security Information Event Management, all applications into one application, so that way you can look at event logs, every transaction that happens, and payloads you can actually look at while logging. But instead of you just also looking at it, you'll be configuring it. You'll have a lot of experience with creating firewalls, web application firewalls on AWS as well, also Azure, and it's a lot more other stuff. I don't want to make it too long, but that's one of the good things. Now the last one, Compliance Security Assessments and Incident Response. Let's check it, a good look at that. This one is very important. I just finished this not too long ago. One thing I will say is that it deals with a lot of compliance, like NIST, NIST frameworks, yes, frameworks as well, PCI DSS, which is private car industry, and some other stuff as well. But they'll tell you, if you were to do something like a pen tester, what would you actually have to look out for? So for example, they'll tell you, yes, you can work with these, you can scan for these virtual machines, but there's certain applications that the cloud service provider doesn't want you to touch. And that's the good part about it, because you get to learn about all these policies. It may seem a little dry, but the good thing is that it'll help you prepare. So if you're looking for a job in the future or move on, The good thing is that you'll have these policies in the back of your head because you tested for them. In those labs I conducted pen test, vulnerability assessments, and some other good stuff as well. Also, I use Microsoft Defender for Cloud in this book as well when I was doing the labs, because I wanted to make sure that the structure that I had fell under the CIS benchmark, which is a benchmark that you can learn about. And it helps you, a lot of these things, a lot of these frameworks and benchmarks are already pre-configured inside the actual cloud platform. So when you decide to use the CIS, it'll tell you exactly, to make it more like CIS benchmark, these are the things that you need to secure, these are the policies, or etc. So I would definitely look at that and take that in consideration. And of course, have the good old workbook. The cool thing about the workbook is that I didn't typically use this as much, and the reason why is because they have one online and I have dual monitors. I'll put the workbook on the left, and also I will put my labs on the right. So that way I can just read it and execute at the same time, instead of reading the book, go up, reading the book, go up, and it helped out so much. Like I said, the experience so far has been pretty good. I can't complain. I like how they give you so much material, and if you're an actual audio learner, you can listen to the MP3, and that's what I do sometimes when I'm on the way to work. I'll listen to the section MP3. If I'm sitting at the desk or I got some downtime at work, I'll listen to the SANS on demand portion. And if I'm just sitting in the house and I just got some time to myself, I'll read a book. I have no problem with that. A lot of people will complain about the prices, but I'll look at it like this. Sometimes it's very worth paying for knowledge, because due to me going to this institute, I've learned so much valuable information, and it's going to help me progress in the future. Yes, people will be like, oh, there's so much material that's free, but sometimes I'm the type of person, if something is structured a lot better, I know kind of where my path is going to be at. A lot of times people, they'll say it's free, but a lot of times it's harder, and a lot of times people, they want to pre-configure their own labs and stuff. I had experience with that, but not as much in the cloud like I wanted to. Due to them doing this, and I was able to read and go back and forth, it helped me out a lot. And plus, on top of that, after you study all this, you can do an actual exam at the end. I personally think it's well worth it, if you can afford it, of course. Don't go on no crazy debt if you can't afford it, of course. But if you're a veteran or your job will offer to pay for it, I will say definitely go for it. No matter what you learn, it's always good to take something out of it. I don't expect to remember 100% everything from these books after I finish, but I would like to take bits and pieces to help me get me to the next level. Graduate certificate, it comes with a total of 4 courses, but it's a year time span, so you'll get about 4 months a piece to actually prepare for the certification. There's no discussions you have to worry about, no forum posts you have to do. You just have to get ready to make sure you're ready for the actual exam. I take mine August 12th, so I'm hoping and praying that everything goes well. But right now I have to focus on building my index, because the GIAC exams are open book. The main popular way people take this test is building an index, meaning there's terms within the exam that you can reference that you learned in the book, and you can take those books with you as well, which I am in the process of doing. So I just finished the SANS on demand, but what I'm going to do now in the future is just build an index and say, okay, book 1, page 1, the term, IAM, description, identity access management, and you can find it here. But what I like to do, I'm going to judge it. I'm going to categorize it based off colors. When I'm finished, I'll show you my strategy of what I'm doing so far when I'm building my index, so that way, if you guys decide to actually attend the actual course, or whatever course through SANS, you'll actually know how you build your index. So I hope this helps. But remember, I said like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'm gonna get back to y'all.